Hello, and welcome to another edition of Spoken Voices. We hope everybody's doing okay. As we always do when we start our show, we hope that everybody's doing well in the pandemic, which is still with us. But good news this week, they said they came up with a shot for it. So we hope everybody who feels comfortable taking their shots will take it. And we hope that everybody's doing good on this snowy Thursday. By the time you see the show, it's probably not going to be here, but we got a lot of snow, as you can see in the background, because we're recording from our home again. But that's okay. We always want to come to you with good news and things to give you to think about. This week, there's nothing in particular. I'm just going to go through a gambit of stuff, and we hope that it's interesting to you. Heard something this week for all those who are maybe suffering a little bit financially through this virus. If you've been laid off or if you're on unemployment and stuff, they may come up with something to give us all a little help. And that's something that I think a lot of people have been waiting for and been looking forward to, because at this point, if you watch anything on TV, if you watch the news at any point in time, you know, it's astonishing to me to see the lines for food, which bothers me to no end. So many people are now in food lines that never thought that they would ever have to go that route to feed their family. So, we've come to the conclusion that everyone is hurting during this pandemic. And I'm so glad to see that the powers that be has come to the realization that people need help. People need help to get through the day. People need help to pay their rent, their mortgage, their lights, their water bill, and things like that. For me, it's always been a situation where about a month into this thing, and you saw people closing their restaurants, closing their stores because it was necessary to not spread it. After a while, you get to the conclusion that yes, people do need help. And I'm just sorry it took so long for the powers that be to realize this, and that people had to go and be on these food lines and things like that. And it hurts my heart to see it. But apparently there's supposed to be something on the way. I would love to see this vaccination get to the point where, the older people, older than myself, that's in nursing homes and such like that, could basically get back to their way of life also, and have their families come visit them in the nursing homes or wherever they are, and for them to be able to feel a sense of normalcy in their lives too. Can you imagine being a certain age and you've lived to be 90 or so, or late 80s, and realize that you can't go about your normal life, especially if you're in relatively good health, and being able to see your family at the tail end of your life, uh, and not being able to see those who you love. For those who celebrate the holiday, not being able to be together as a family. I know it was a hard way to go for those who wanted to be with family members during Thanksgiving also. That's another holiday where you gather with your families, and something that's just the norm for us. And it's always been the norm for this country, for family members to get together and celebrate a certain holiday that they look forward to throughout the year. And we're all hoping that this vaccine does the trick. We're hoping that it basically is able to let us get back to a normal way of life. And I'm very sure everyone who's listening to me like that feels the same way. And I can't wait to get back to the studio so I can have a guest come on with good news and something that is informative, as opposed to me that's sitting here talking to you. Though I love doing it, I love to have people come on to talk about different things like our show about autism and things like that. It was very important to me and the producer for us to get that out there. And we want to bring more things like that to you. We're looking forward to the new year. And I think everybody's looking forward to the new year. We're looking to get back to our normal way of life. But until then, we like we always talk about it on this show since this thing began. We just want everybody to take care of each other. We want everybody to basically take the precautions that is necessary for us to live a somewhat normal life during this pandemic. Wear your mask, social distancing, all that good stuff that we need to do. We hope that you're able to find alternative ways to basically, go about your day, even though, it may not be the norm for you or your family members to not see each other, not be able to sit down at the kitchen table and talk to one another. We hope that you're all finding alternate ways to basically make your day somewhat normal. For us, we're lucky enough to have the two youngest living with us, which makes it a little bit easier. But we're still not doing too much traveling. We're on the phone a lot with the other kids and stuff, and we're talking to them, and that helps a little bit. But at the end of the day, there's nothing like seeing somebody. There's nothing like seeing each other face to face and being together. Funny thing is, we had an opportunity and we went to New York City, where basically we're from. So we went to New York, where basically we're from. So we went to New York, and it was amazing to me being a New Yorker. We went into Manhattan, and it was like a ghost town. Now, let me tell you, if those was like a ghost town. Now, let me tell you, if those of you listening to me, if you're from New York or you go to New York frequently, you remember how New York is. New York is bustling. It's a million people running around and going to work and commuters and all that other stuff. We went there. We saw very few cars, very, very few people around and going to work and commuters and all that other stuff. We went there. We saw very few cars, very, very few people. And it was almost, I'm trying to find a word for it. It was eerie. It was eerie just walking down an empty street in the middle of Manhattan, 42nd and Broadway. We got off basically at 46th Street and we walked down to 42nd and Broadway. And those lights, those stores and everything that you really want to go to New York for. And it was basically dead. It was New York 4, and it was basically dead. There was hardly very few people on the streets. And when we left, we actually took Metro North back. And Metro North at about 3 o'clock and all of the commuters going back and forth, it was even, Grand Central Station was even a ghost town. There was no one there, and I talked to Maribel and I told her, I said, this is almost like a horror movie. You go down and you're in this place where you normally see all these people and you realize, oh my God, there's no one here. And it was scary. But what happened with me, it made me start thinking, it made me start thinking how devastating this thing has become. And it also makes you a little bit sad because one thing's for sure, we actually went past Rockefeller. This thing has become, and it also makes you a little bit sad because one thing's for sure, we actually went past Rockefeller Center, where the tree is, the Christmas tree. There was no one there. It was like maybe about 10 people, and of course the police were there and stuff. As usual during this time of year, but it was hardly anyone there, and that was really eerie. And it's always also sad because little kids. I mean, bringing your kids there is like one of the best things in the world. And, you know, they get such a kick out of seeing this humongous tree with all the lights. It gives them like it amps them up for Christmas and what, you know, what they anticipate uh, Christmas to be. So that being said, I think it's I think it's incumbent upon us to start doing the things we need to do so we can get back to normal. Where a day in New York is like it's always been. It's been, you know, the fun, the walking around, the seeing people. Because again, it wasn't the same. It was not the same like it was year before last. It was just totally eerie to us just being there. And to me, that's a sad affair. Even I tell you what, even watching sports now for me, because I'm a sports guy. I love football. I love basketball. And seeing the football being played with no one in it and kind of the noise, the crowd noise is pumped in from a loudspeaker. And you hear this noise, but then they pan across the stadium. There's no one in seats, which is really weird to me. I'm like, wow, this is really, really weird. Still enjoyed the games, but there's still something missing. There's something missing from the game. Same thing with baseball and basketball. There's something missing. And I'm looking forward to the day when that something missing comes back into the equation and we're back to quote unquote normal, because normal is relative. You know, my normal is probably not somebody else's normal, but something that we can all look forward to is having something that is similar to normal that we're used to having. You know, we we look at kids now. I look at my granddaughters who are supposed to be in school and they're learning from home. Now, that's a double-edged sword too. Is it better for them to be at home and learn? Do they learn more at home? And does that put the onus on a parent now to be able to help them learn from home? And that for that in itself is not a bad thing. That makes us more interactive with what our kids are learning. We get to see, you know, if you're lucky enough not to be able to work from home, we get to see what our kids are learning. And for the most cases, if you're doing it virtually, you could basically talk to the teacher, because normally the only time you get to talk to the teacher is when there's open house and you get to go and find out what your child is doing. This way, you can talk to the teacher while the class is going on. If it's something that you know that you don't understand that your kid would normally bring home for homework, now you can actually ask the teacher, okay, if I need to help her with this, how can I do it? So that's not a bad thing. It gets to the point where you're able to interact with your child while in school and you get to learn more. But the bad thing about that, the backside of that is now your child is not able to interact with other children. Interacting with other kids is very important because it gives them a sense of socializing. You know, if your grandkid or your child can't socialize, it becomes almost the first day of school. When this thing ends, it's almost like the first day of school for them when they first started school. You know, and that to me is kind of I think it's a kind of a psychological thing with our kids too. It's like, oh my God, now I got to go back to the classroom. I have to get readjusted to that situation again. But these are the things that we can help our children, you know, deal with. We if we talk to them and we let them know that this is what's going to happen. This is the things that we're going to have to deal with, and make sure that we're helping them. Uh, Dave, this battery. I'm sorry, we're going to cut this battery's about to die, and it's affecting the video.
Just
Awesome. Yeah,
what's affecting the video?
the low battery, it's moving like this. It's not moving right. Should I end the pause because This thing is not letting me do anything. Conform. Edit this. So those, we have to be able to, what did they always say? Take lemons. When you get lemons, make lemonade. So we have to find ways to basically make the best out of a bad situation. And with any luck, with any, with any effort, we should be able to get through this with no problem. And we hope that everybody who is suffering from this thing and getting depressed and all that, as we spoke in another show, we hope that those people are going out and they're talking to family members or friends or anybody or professionals to help them through it. Because again, this is not an easy thing. This is not something that a person can look at somebody and say, "We'll get over it," because it affects people in different ways. It affects me in a certain way. It's just that me, I'm on a show with you guys every week, so I can't help but talk. And even doing this show helps me, talk about the things that may be troubling me or things that I am looking for. And I hope that this show basically helps you up too, and lifts you up and makes you think about the good things about life and so forth, because that is our purpose, to make you look at make you think about, what is good in your life, how to, the good things, as opposed to dwelling on the fact that there's something going on that we have no control over. But if you think about it for a little while, there's a lot of things in life that we don't have no control over. We just don't. And we have to accept those things for what it is. We have to accept the things we have no control over and say, okay, how do I maneuver from that? How do I get to a better place if those things are beginning to bring me down? What do I need to do to get to a better place in my life where I don't dwell on the negative? I accentuate the positive. How do we do this? And a lot of times it's the most simplest thing in the world. You're getting out of a quote unquote funk, maybe listening to music, your favorite music. That helps me a lot. Talking to somebody, and just having a conversation with your family or friends or something like that, and talking about the good things that, the good experiences, the good memories that you have, and realizing that those memories are not something that is not going to come back. Those are memories that keeps you going, but it keeps you going to, get new good memories for. More memories with family and friends to get you to the point where this is going to be put behind you. And I decided to do this show about this thing and where we're at this point, because like I said, I know a lot of people are suffering, and they're suffering mentally and financially. And I wanted everybody to get my perspective on it, because again, this is not forever. This is not a forever deal. This is something that we're going through. It's a phase. You remember phases growing up, right? You went through being a kid, went through adolescence, became a young adult, and you got through those. So which is probably a little bit worse than what we're going through with this pandemic for a few of us, growing older and getting through this. And we can do it. It's not going to be easy. Anybody that tells you it's going to be easy is not telling you the truth. It's going to be hard. We're going to have to change a lot of things that we do, even when we get this vaccine and stuff. We're still going to have to be careful. Uh, and at the end of the day, you never know when something else may come out like that, because that's just the way of the world. This is the planet that we live on, and this planet gives us little, little things that we have to deal with, different viruses that come out uh, from the beginning of time. And we've been able to figure it out. This is not the end all of everything. We have great scientists, great doctors, and stuff like that. As far as fast as this vaccine came out, you know, and I know a lot of people are really, really nervous about how fast it came out and should you take it. And I'm not a doctor, and I would never advise anybody to take it or not take it, but I would do advise you to talk to your doctor. If you have underlining things as far as allergies and stuff like that, it seems to maybe affect people with allergies and stuff like that a little bit different from what I've been hearing. So before I know for me, before I take it, I would definitely consult my doctor and find out if it's advantageous for me to take it, and what I may have side effects from it or whatever. But that's up to the individual. But it's out there, and that's a ray of hope too for all of us, is that it's out there for us to take. And and once everybody has done what they need to do for themselves, hopefully again we can get back to some form of normalcy and you know see each other again. And like I say, as far as the show goes, I can have people in the studio that we can sit down and talk to, and got a lot of stuff in mind that we want to bring to you guys too. And we want to be able to give you guys good things to listen to. I don't know anything else about what anybody else is doing, but I know our show is on every week, and that's because of the effort that me and Maribel put into it. We feel that we don't want a week or two or whatever to go by without being on. And for those who watch us regularly and those who are new, to say, okay, well, they don't have a new show. They keep showing the same show over and over again. So we put the effort into it, and we try to bring you some good stuff every week. And we hope that you guys are tuning in, and that you're liking the stuff that we give you. And again, like we always say, we always want you to have and walk away from this program with a positive attitude, and the ability to say, well, hey, you know what? That was pretty cool. So you know what? I'm gonna walk out this door and I'm gonna feel a little bit better about the situation I may be in. And what we may be going through is not the end all and be all of my life. And we hope that everybody is good. There's a lot of people out there, if you look at the numbers, that are getting sick and stuff, but we hope that they're being taken care of, and the people that are well and walking around without this virus continue to do that and continue to take care of themselves and the people they come in contact with. Again, too many things I've seen, too many things, and watched too many videos that come across my phone and stuff like that, of people believing that their rights are infringed upon about wearing a mask. For me, those are the people I would definitely stay away from, because it's not that's not the reason why you wear a mask, and it's not, at the end of the day, it's not that serious. As far as you putting on a mask and going about your business, because you're only going to have it on for a little while. Once you get back to your car or whatever, you get away from people, take it off, take a breath, and move about your business. But at least when you had it on, you can realize as you're walking away, wow, I just did something good, you know, and feel good about yourself, because you say, well, hey, I just did something good. I didn't, if I don't know whether I have it or not, but what I did was prevent somebody else from having it. What a good person I am. Pat yourself on the back, go buy yourself something nice, because you did the right thing by wearing a mask. And it's not, again, it's not hard. It's not infringing upon anybody's rights or anything, but we want you guys to be safe. And that's the thing. We want everybody to be safe. We want everybody's family to be safe also. Next week, we will have another show for you. We hope we can bring you something. And I'm going to try not to talk about this thing because hopefully by the time the next show is on, this thing will be somewhat in the rear view mirror and we can move on from it. But in the meantime, like I always say, man makes plans, God smiles. Please take care of yourselves. Please be good to one another. And we will see you on another edition of Spoken Voices. Please take care. Bye-bye.